Community. Community is the construct within which social workers practice. A definition given by the Social Work Dictionary is a group of individuals or families that share certain values, services, institutions, interests, or geographical proximity. So, with this definition, we can understand that community can be a variety of different forms. It can be locational, such as a city. It can be identificational, or it can be interest. Non-geographical communities serve a number of purposes to enhance members' sense of well-being. And this is an arena for forming relationships and creating a sense of identity. And these range from a social networking site to a community of interest, to a spiritual community, so on and so forth. Identificational communities is one that is often taught about, and some examples of an identificational community are ethnic communities, communities of color, and communities based on sexual orientation. These are communities that beg the question, who am I and where do I belong? I have a couple examples of communities of interest. One that readily comes to mind is the National Association of Social Workers. And what this community does is it allows us credibility as a social work professional. It offers opportunities for networking with other social workers across the various areas of practice. It provides membership services such as liability and consulting on ethical issues. It is a sponsored, organized efforts to affect change, and so there are the NASW lobbies in order to promote change in a variety of different areas. And they help us think about how to respond in certain situations by publishing policy statements on various issues to help guide us in our practice. Another interest group is spiritual communities. And these communities establish norms and values for moral character and for ethical relations with one another. There is a level of social control by fostering order, discipline, and authority. It has rules about what one ought to or ought not do. It is a source of emotional support. It provides one a sense of identity, of belonging, and it serves as a source of positive physical and mental health. When we think about communities, there are typically a few different ways we think about them. We can think of community as place, which is that physical geographical location. So the city of Laramie, the city of Casper, it has a definite boundary. Although sometimes it's open for interpretation, the city has established that you are outside the city limits and you are in the county, or you're within city limits, and then those people within city limits have access to certain utilities, garbage disposal, those sorts of pieces, and individuals living outside of that community and living in the county would have other access to garbage disposal services, those sorts of things. It can be a state, it can be a country, it could be a continent, but community can be place. Other ways of thinking about community include community as function, community as middle ground, mediator, or link, community as a way of relating, and community as a social system. So let's talk first about the function of a community. So one of the key functions is the production, distribution, and consumption. So in order to get individuals' needs met, there is local participation in this production, distribution, consumption of necessary goods and services, both by industry, business, professions, religious organizations, schools, and governmental agencies. There is a socialization factor. This includes transmission of knowledge, social values, behavior patterns to members by families, schools, religious organizations, and other units within the community. Then there is the social participation. This allows individuals to interact with one another through families and kinship groups, friendship groups, business, governmental programs, and social agencies. And then the last one is the function of providing mutual support. So when people have times of need for care through if they're sick, if they need, if they're down on their luck, or what have you, this is when the assistance for others by primary groups such as families, relatives, neighborhood groups, friendship groups, local religious groups, social services agencies, insurance companies, and other support units are put into play. A community as a middle ground, mediator, or link. This is the idea that if we were going to look at it from a systems perspective, the boundary that surrounds the family, it is where the individual and the society meet. So outside of that group, that interface between the two. So we can talk about it as the community being a microcosm of society, and how the smaller community of Casper interacts with the larger community of Wyoming, which interacts with the larger country of the United States of America, which interacts with North America, and then we can go out into the world, so on and so forth. So it is that interaction between a smaller group and the larger group. Way of relating emphasizes the identification of feelings of membership by community members and feelings by others that a member is in fact a member of that community. Social systems recognizes the influence on communities of other systems and subsystems in the larger environment. So this would be an example of the systems theory, where you have the boundaries and it is the impact between the systems, all right? And so if we talk about the community of Casper and its impact on the larger state of Wyoming, or Wyoming's impact on the community of Casper, and then the impact of Wyoming on being one of the states, one of the 50 states in the United States, and then part of the United States being in the larger aspect of being in North America, and so on and so forth. So it is that interaction between the two, and it identifies the influences that the larger environments have at the same time It influences the larger environment at the same time that the community is influenced by the larger environment. So if you think about the influence of state and national governments on the local community, such as laws, taxes, other aspects. So no matter what community you're talking about, there are basic elements or building blocks of a community, and those include families, groups, facilities, neighborhoods, institutions, and organizations.